Okay, a very interesting game was played here between William and Atticus, and yeah, what's kind of fun about it is it begins with maybe the original chess opening, White seemingly going for the four-move checkmate, and why not, right? It happens to all of us when we started playing the game. At least, actually, I mean, I don't know if that happened to me. I assume it did. Certainly, I see it all the time in Scholastic chess, and most people, when they tell the story about learning to play chess, one of their first experiences is getting mated in this way. So it's understandable that once we've been on the receiving end of this checkmate, we want to do it to other people too. So why not? Now, as you play more experienced players who show that they know how to meet it, then you realize that this is not really the best way to play the opening, but that's okay. Try it out, learn from experience, and when the experience proves that it's not such a great way to go, then you switch to other openings. All right, well, let's see how this one went. So black played knight to c6, which is the right move, because white was threatening the pawn on e5, and so black covers it. Now, the four-move checkmate, the proper way to go is you go bishop to c4. And for instance, if black plays knight f6, which looks good at first sight, developing a piece and attacking the queen, then, oopsie, queen takes f7 is checkmate. The bishop defends the queen, so black's king cannot take, and there's nowhere else for the black king to go, so that's mate. But, of course, black can do better. The best move is g6. Now, white can drop the queen back to f3 and again threaten mate. And what black should do here is block that line. So knight f6. Now, white can just go full blast here, just, single-mindedly trying to do something bad to black on the f7 square. Now, you could play queen to e7, but there's an even better move. Let white have his or her way and play knight to d4. This is a cool move. So you're attacking the queen. Let's say white plays bishop f7 check. Well, after king to e7, white's got a problem. Several problems, really. We're attacking the queen. We're also attacking this pawn on c2, which is not just the pawn, but it's a fork hitting the king and the rook. And we are attacking the bishop on f7. And white has a really, really, really hard time defending all three of these things. So there is one way to do it for one move with queen to c4. But now we give the queen another little nudge here with the b pawn, and now white is out of good moves. So there's no way for the white queen to save herself and stop knight takes c2 check from winning the rook and save the bishop on f7. So black is just winning here. For instance, queen to c5 check, and now king takes bishop with the discovered attack on the queen and an extra piece and all the rest. So this is why this attempt to go for the quick mate is really not such a great idea. So you end up losing time with your queen. She moves around and around, and black gets a bunch of free tempi kicking her. Okay, so let's go on. So white played queen to f3, which is kind of surprising because, yeah, I mean, if you brought the queen to h5, then go for the mate and only go back to f3 when you have to. Or if you had wanted to play queen f3, you could have done that here instead of playing queen to h5. So doing the hokey pokey is usually not a good strategy. Sometimes it can be, but most of the time it's not going to work very well. All right, knight f6, bishop c4, and here I would probably play knight to d4, but bishop c5 is okay. And now white played queen to h3, and this is a pretty suspicious move because the queen is now on the wrong end of a lineup with the black bishop on c8. So you got these two pieces, these two diagonal pieces facing each other on the same line, and only this black pawn on d7 is in the way. And that should say, hey, wait a minute, if I move this pawn, something good's going to happen to me if I'm black, not if I'm white. So I would see, where can I push this pawn? Can I push this pawn and attack something? Because if I can, and I can, with d5, then I'm going to win something, because I'm attacking the queen, and I'm attacking the bishop, and white cannot save both. So it's a free bishop for black. All right, in the game, black played d6, and that gave white the chance to kind of keep things going. All right, at a certain point in the game, I'm going to jump to this spot. Black is up a pawn, and white's position is a little bit funny, but white does have a couple of good things going on now. So white just moved the queen here, where it attacks the knight. There's also the threat of bishop takes h6. So all of a sudden, it's a little bit tricky for black. And black played a move that makes sense, but it's actually a really big mistake. Do you see why it's a big mistake? Well, the thing is, it's defended by the f-pawn, but then if we look carefully at everything that's going on, we realize that it's actually not defended by the f-pawn because the f-pawn is pinned. So white could play queen takes g6 check, and this is going to lead to a quick forced mate. For instance, if knight to g7, bishop takes h6, and there's no sensible way of defending the knight. So that would just win on the spot. In the game, white missed it and played bishop takes h6, but got a second chance after knight to d4 to again play queen takes g6 check. Again, exploiting the fact that this pawn, it looks like it's defending this square, but it really isn't because of the bishop on c4. So that was a big chance missed by white. All right, at the end of the game, we get to here, and black played queen to g2, and on both score sheets it said checkmate. Well, there's only one problem. It's not checkmate. So when you resign a game or when your opponent claims that it's checkmate, be really, really sure that you have no way to fight, no last options. So here, white does have one move still. Okay, it could be queen to e2 mate on the next turn, but still, be absolutely sure before you resign or before you say that your opponent has checkmated you, before you give up. Because once you stop the clock and you resign, or you say, yep, that's mate, and you give up, then it's too late to undo it. So be super careful about that first. All right, I will hopefully see you in some subsequent videos. Take care. Bye for now.